And also, a very interesting story that came out yesterday. R. Kelly's done.
Yeah.
And I really don't. Let me put this in context for you here. Whitney Houston, Metallica, Madonna, Bruce Springsteen, AC/DC, the Rolling Stones, Mariah Carey. R. Kelly has sold more albums than all of those.
Really, I didn't know that. That's pretty.
I knew that he was huge in the 90s.
Yeah.
I knew that he was he was the biggest R&B star of the decade. Yeah. I knew how big he was, but I was like, how big is this guy? He has sold more albums than all of those bands, not combined, but all of those bands. He sold more albums than the Rolling Stones,
and they've been around for 60 years.
And I'm going, wow, he's a top 10 album selling artist of all time.
Yeah.
And now he's going to prison probably for the rest of his life. They're saying 10 years to life, but he was found guilty of everything. And that's huge news. It's not surprising. But I'm kind of like, wow. I mean, this would be like Mick Jagger going to prison for his and this guy's a relatively young guy.
Yeah.
Compared to the others.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is huge news. Remember the story we did about, was it Bob Dylan or something a few weeks ago, where someone was like, the Me Too movement has not touched rock and roll yet.
Yeah.
But it's going to.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the beginning of a landslide of artists.
Yeah, it was interesting, and I can't figure out if it's our cynicism or just justice was done. I think people, including R. Kelly, were surprised that he got what he got to the full extent that he did.
Yeah.
Right. I think, and the reason I'm saying that is cynicism. I think we all have this sort of assumption nowadays. Well, whatever they are, if they're a celebrity, they're going to get somewhat less.
Yeah.
But he didn't. And
now I'm starting to think that if you're a celebrity, you may get more.
Well,
you may be used as an example. Let's just separate something too. R. Kelly was dealing with a lot of underage females.
Exactly.
That's super important here, and that to every letter of the law, you should be convicted for that. If you threw that out, there was this culture period in rock and roll. There still is somewhat of a culture. It's a lot different now than we've been back. We've been backstage, 80. And they're not trashing hotel rooms. They're not, there's not groupies all over the place. And I mentioned some of the shows I went to in the early '90s. I was like, wow, the Def Leppard show was like, and it was just part of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It was out there, and now everyone's grabbing their check and they're leaving. And maybe it's because of some of these rock and rollers are getting older and stuff. But so the underage part is like, okay,
yep,
way wrong. Absolutely be convicted, blah, 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 blah. But I'm wondering how many other rock and rollers, because, David Bowie, there's a list of rock and rollers.
We don't have.
It was just part of the culture.
But we also don't have means. There's no, even if it's not happening, there's no threat of documentation. That's, to me, the big difference.
It's just a he said, she said.
No, but I know. But if you think about it, even if it's a he said, she said, he or she can instantly go on Instagram or any social media platform after something happens and immediately put it out to millions of people.
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
So we talk about the
true or not. Yeah.
Well, so we talk about taking pictures and the celebrities put your phone up. You can't come in here and put your phone there because I don't want pictures. And again, even if we see this all the time. I don't want pictures of my private event.
Yeah.
Right. And the difference is those pictures can go out instantly. The tweets can go out instantly. The posts can go out instantly. So whether it's happening or not, or going to happen or not, it's an absolute deterrent. If you're a reasonable, logical person and you know that you may be engaged in something that is not appropriate, you got to be thinking about cameras and social media. I can't not think about that, right? And particularly at that level. And if you're not thinking about that, then that tells me that that not only is your judgment poor by everything that you're doing, but even if I put that aside, even if I put that, you got poor judgment and you're harassing and sexual assault and all these horrible things. On top of it, you're not thinking about the camera. And they talked about locking the girls in the room for their own safety.
Yeah.
Right. And then talking about also as well, that's where his recording studio was. So it needed to be separated. It's just all,
It's super creepy, man.
It's super creepy. It's super creepy, and that. But I do think that is why you don't see as much. Not that it's not happening, but among celebrities, because they know that the second that this happens, the second you do this, somebody's going to go out and post something on social media, unless they're threatened otherwise.
Yeah, for the most part, if you're a celebrity and you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, whether it's illegal or not, you're going to be found out. Because if you're cheating, that person is going to have and things don't work out. Even if they don't
post, think about the chain. You're cheating.
Yeah.
And you're cheating with on your partner. You're cheating with somebody. They know that they're not allowed to. They can't post anything. They've signed some document, whatever it is. But even if they just tell a friend,
they're going to post it.
Right.
And I mean, you can get online, New York Post, whatever. There's about 6 or 7 different stories every single day where she said she slept with him, the wife's angry with him. It's a celebrity. It's an NBA star. It's A-Rod.
That's right.
It's Southern Charm. It's incredible. Or someone is DMing someone.
Yep.
Or liking a post from someone else. They're like, everyone's kind of scratched there. That's kind of interesting. I thought he's
Which is also creepy. I mean, think about it. Let's say you're doing nothing wrong, and you wonder why celebrities are aloof, standoffish. Yeah. I mean, think about if everything you did, every move you made, and even if you didn't make a move, all right? So let's use Tony Curry. All of a sudden you start scrolling things. I heard Tony Curry is hooking up with someone. Well, how did you hear that? Well, they said this, and you're literally sitting in your room doing nothing.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if stories were told about you and it's just going on? And, you say, well, I just ignore those.
Who did they have me hooking up with?
Well, I don't know. You pick. Julie Andrews.
Oh, well.
She doesn't even have... Is she dead?
No, she's alive.
Okay.
I may have to like that
post. But I think that it speaks to... We talked about this. It speaks to this separation between reality and perceived invincibility. Yep. Right? Because at the most logical, basic level, you don't want to do any of that stuff. I guess unless you feel like no matter what I do, good, bad, or indifferent, people are going to say things.
What's amazing to me, and I was reading several posts and several stories this morning, what's amazing to me is how many people still support him. There's a whole support R. Kelly movement on Facebook. There's a Facebook group, support R. Kelly. And their whole argument is he's a celebrity. The girls who were with him knew he was a celebrity and that it was consensual, even despite the fact they were 13, 14, 15 years old.
Right, it was all consensual.
And again, if you want to take the younger age out because it's impossible to be consensual if you're under 18, anyone say 18 and up. They knew it's the Monica Lewinsky thing. Yeah. She knew exactly what she was doing. Despite the power, despite what she knew it was wrong. She knew what she was doing. And so why aren't we pointing blame there? And we can.
Yeah.
So for the hundreds of other women or whoever it was, I mean, I look at someone like Wilt Chamberlain who admitted that he slept with 10,000 people, and I'm like, okay, one of those. But you
see, it's pre-social media days. It's there's no way, again, there's no deterrent.
Yeah.
So let's say you even came out. You came out and told the media. Okay, what proof do you have? There's just nothing. We track everything now. We can track everything. And I think the same thing. I think it's so interesting that you say, and I understand why. If it was under 18, we get it. If it's over 18, okay, that's different. Well, if it's 17 versus 19. So no, and by law, it's consensual. The other question, though, and this came out in the R. Kelly, besides the sexual assault, because his was charges of assault in addition to sexual harassment, etc.
Yeah.
You wonder about this because they talked about locking them in the room or sort of protecting them for their own safety. You get yourself into this, and there's a difference between consenting to kind of go into it, and then the question is, do you have a way out? You go backstage to a party. You get on David Lee Roth's bus.
Yeah.
Can you get off? You know what I'm saying?
I could, but yeah.
But do you know what I'm saying? To me, that's an important thing. Can you freely get off out of the bus, out of the room, out of the house without being harassed or whatever? You're free to come, you're free to go.
Yeah.
Because to me, particularly if you're going to say it's consensual and you can debate that, There has to be a consensual way in and a consensual way out. I don't want to do that. I want to leave.
To make the argument, and certainly to make this point, not all people that are in musical are sexual predators.
No.
And I would make the argument, and of course a lot of people are like, well, you've never been in their shoes. If, just for example, if Dr. Josh Klapow all of a sudden was a musical artist.
I can't sing or play an instrument.
Yeah. Again, I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but to know that you could have the pick of anybody you wanted in your audience that night.
Yeah.
Any of them.
And I'm single.
And they're coming out, and you're single.
Yeah.
They're married, single, whatever.
Well, no, it makes a big difference.
And they're coming up to your door afterwards. So say say because you're a moral guy.
Yeah.
You're single. You could have any woman, and not only could you have any woman you want or man, but they're coming to your door.
Yeah.
And they're going, please be with me. I want to be, and you're like, I that would be a power that would be, first of all, something that's unrecognizable to most of us.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you,
It'd be very, very difficult. We see these Jerry Springer shows where the woman says her husband's cheating. They put him in a green room and they send in 3 strippers, and they're all over him. And he's like, oh, it's almost entrapment. He could say no, and he should say no.
But
I understand that.
But here's the difference. This is novelty versus habituation, right? So on the first time it happens, or the first 10 times it happens, you're like, this is freaking amazing. And we've talked about this. After like the 5,000th time, right? Because you're playing all these.
You come to expect it?
What?
You come to expect it?
Well, expect it, and it's not as the lure is not as much there. Now, I'm not saying that you don't find somebody in your audience particularly attractive or particularly connected to you, but just the fact that, the way you said, you can have anybody you want and they're knocking at your door. After a while, we talked about this, about sort of the, that it's not all about sex.
Yeah.
Right? After a while, you're like, yeah, okay, I've had sex with this many people, and now I'm tired. Like, I just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
But I don't think we can relate to that. Any of us can relate to that because we don't get the pick of anybody we want. Mm-hmm. And we don't get people coming to us. So, but again, if it happened 5,000 times, after a while, that does become normal. Now, does it mess with your head? Yes. But the way I would look at it is you're in this weird position. It's like this weird Tinder sort of thing. You're not swiping. They're just
coming at the door.
Well, you're swiping. They're coming to your door. Nope.
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
But someone shows up at your door at 2:00 in the morning, stand there butt naked at your hotel room.
You talk about whether you're married or single.
Look what happened.
It doesn't make a difference. It does make a difference.
No, it does. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, it puts a different pressure on you. It puts a different moral compass on you. If you're single and you're a celebrity, or if you're not a celebrity and people are just coming to you, they want to be with you, they want to know you, and you're single, as long as you're engaging in safe sex practices and you're not doing harassment or assault and you're engaged with them, good for you.
Yeah.
Like that.
Sharon Osbourne used to, in that documentary on Ozzy, she said, I couldn't keep track of them. There were so many. It was Ozzy. He's biting heads off bats, and He was crazy. She's like, I could try to be with him. I tried to be with him 24 hours a day. I was his manager, obviously. She's like, but I was trying to be with him 24 hours a day to keep him away from bad influences and crazy women and women who I know that just wanted to jump his bones, and I knew that he jumped their bones back. And she's like, and it was impossible. She's like, I would leave to go to the bathroom.
She was married to him at the time?
Oh, yeah.
That's pathetic.
Yeah.
And
they're still married. They're still married.
No, I know that they're still married, but let's.
But she's like, she in the documentary, she goes, I left to go use the bathroom, and she's like, don't move, don't do anything, don't let anybody in. And she came back, and there were 3 women in the room. I'm like,
that's just that's a poor excuse.
And she go, what do you do?
But that's a poor excuse for a human being.
Yeah.
It is.
Yep.
I don't care how great you think Ozzy is. Yep. All of those parts, that is a poor excuse for a human being. Yep. You can don't call it weakness.
Yep.
Weakness is ridiculous.
Yep.
See,